thing. So like fireworks, these explosions, like they're unsettling. Like for dogs don't like them, babies don't like them, and then most importantly, like veterans that have PTSD do not like them. What this is
Yeah,
showing is that
yeah,
like to our psychology, very much so, like we don't really know the difference inside of our head in terms of our response between
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
gunshot, backfiring car, bomb, firework, like they're all basically the same thing. Super loud noise all of a sudden. Having
Mm-hmm.
like getting used to all these like loud ass noises being around all the time. It's kind of weird, dude. And like
Mm.
I definitely have probably standardized them inside of my head now cuz like I when I heard them just now, I was surprised that I heard them cuz I like realized I had been drowning them out basically. It's pretty
Yeah.
weird. I don't know, dude. At this point in time, like I'm so like I'm honestly on like super high alert for the fucking psychological operation all over the
Yeah.
place, dude, because it is fucking thick and hot right now, and I don't. They're not even doing a good job. Like it's crazy. They're just trying everything. It's so ridiculous.
And it
It's
sounds like I'm in one of the primary hot zones to try something, so that's pretty exciting.
I cannot believe that's this is it. The longer that it goes that isn't happening somewhere else, the more I believe it's actually a real thing. You know what I
Cool. All
mean?
right. Right
Because
on.
like you would think that they kicked one off there, everybody didn't get fucking murdered immediately by the National Guard or whatever, right?
Right,
And
right.
so why wouldn't this start happening in other places? I mean, like people around here, they very much so you can tell that like they've definitely like taken some of the reins off. Like I drove
Mm-hmm.
past a park on the way to go get lunch yesterday or something like that. There was cars filling the parking lot. There was cars like lining the street next to it. And when you looked inside of the park, there was like tents and all this shit set up. They were having like a full on event. And that
Right.
hasn't happened since February
Months.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's so
That's
weird.
interesting to consider too, because I read an article from, or not an article, a post, Facebook post from one of the National Guardsmen who came in there. As a quick side note to our little science animation videos,
Yeah.
current events. Willow, take note of this. This is for our micro content, current event comments. Um, so like, I read this thing from the National Guard guys from when the day he got called in and the full 2 weeks or first 2 weeks up until like June 12th or whatever when they pulled out, and it was his experience. And it was, I mean, it was really, I mean, it seemed genuine for
When they
one. I
pulled
mean, he
out
was
of where?
when they pulled out of the C.H.A.Z, when they
Okay.
pulled back, when they were fighting them for up to 2 weeks, when they were establishing it, the process from his perspective, the way it happened, it was
Was
really
that only the
objective.
12th?
I think
They've been there
so.
like a week at least now, right?
Well, right, well, they established it, but that when the I think when the National Guard, when Inslee and the mayor called off the National Guard and the police and told them to abandon the precinct, I think that was all like the
Okay.
12th, I think. So, which is just fucking nuts, man, that we're talking about this, right? It's just crazy. Which, awesome times we live. Um, so like, uh, and since then, like I was there, what, 13th, 14th? I wasn't there. Yeah, so it had to be because I was there. Whenever I was there, they were obviously already gone. It was already, peaceful and whatever. But I guess the point was, or the point I'm trying to make based on the comment you were making, that the National Guard didn't like murder them or take them all out. What he was saying, they were not allowed to be armed. So the Inslee said they can come in, but they can't have arms. Couldn't bring in a bunch of shit. They had a few shields. Like literally, like we're not allowed to be armed. So they had tear gas at first until the mayor outlawed tear gas, like put a stop on that. And so they had like nothing. And then they talked about people coming with backpacks full of things of brick and concrete, handing them out, throwing them right at the shields, right at the riot officers. He had a picture of a shield. And anyway, the point is, maybe the part of the reason is they literally weren't armed. They had to abandon to some extent, it seems, like for their own safety. So like maybe that's backfiring against them, the governing their decision to do that. Now something's established, it's kind of peaceful, and it becomes not a cancer, but maybe something that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the smartest thing to do at this point in time, if the businesses in the area aren't like flipping out big time, which like I hear completely different sets of data depending on who you ask
Yeah, yeah.
about that.
Let me put it this way. So far, I'm trying to right now that you made that statement, the different data I've gotten about that, the comments I have heard about the businesses are open are from people who are there, right? For the most part, I think people are there and they're like I saw businesses open when I was there. Not all of them. I didn't really pay super attention to that, but they're definitely food places open, their businesses open.
Hmm.
Um, and then the other ones I think are people I don't think have even been near there. I'm pretty sure it's all mainstream news regurgitation. Come to think of it, or some form of social media regurgitation that and but there's some truth to that. I'm sure there are a few shop owners at least that are like that it's negatively affecting in a very bad way. And I don't know all the details on it, but that's all I've
Yeah.
heard.
This whole thing's very interesting to me in the biggest space because like well, okay, so like Donald Trump is like ridiculously against it, but then
Mm-hmm.
basically says I don't know, it's like the Donald Trump Q angle for me doesn't wash with the way that their group, Donald Trump in his posts and the Q group in forums and whatnot, are responding to this situation. Like I feel like they should want this because it's not well, it's not like that it's it's clearly not what they were acting like it was gonna be in the first place. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it was like this Antifa charged fucking thing. Like you can tell that for sure now. Like I don't know if you've been paying attention. It seems very obvious to me that it's like the the
Here's
level of
here's
organization is not like anything beyond what some decently logistical people could pull off, no problem. You know?
Yeah, it seems like, yeah. Well, and also here's the thing, and also that they knowingly, apparently, or maybe they got more than they thought they would with having the governor and the mayor cave so fast. Like they're like, really? They can't use tear gas anymore? All right, awesome. We're just gonna step up to phase 2 or 3 then. Like, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know, but like their response has been to based on commentary and just logical thought here. It seems like even that National Guard's firsthand perspective seems a little insane that they de-armed them in the way they did and caused them. I mean, I get they're trying to keep peace, sort of, but it just seems illogically stupid.
Yeah. I mean, at this point in time, I feel like the obvious idea is to just fucking let them sit there and do their thing,
Right.
unless the businesses are really like throwing a big fit.
Oh, and that was okay. Here's the comment. What's your thoughts on this? So
Honestly, really, like it's Capitol Hill went back in time like 10 years. Let's be real. You know what I mean? Like 10,
Mhm.
15 years ago, Capitol Hill was a completely different place than it normally was today. It's been massively gentrified over that period of time. And what's going on there now? I mean, yeah, okay, there's barricades on streets and shit. Sure, that's different. But like what the people are doing around there, drawing on the sidewalks, graffiti all over the place. This is exactly what Capitol Hill looked like before. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
It ain't
Well,
that different.
so here's the comment I heard that I uh made some sense to me. I haven't thought through it. I just heard it very recently, but that's on the bit like they're talking about making Antifa a terrorist organization, like at the government, federal level or whatever. If they do that, then they can go after them with those resources. And they call that's one avenue. But the negative downside that is any damage done by any one of these groups, or they blame on one of these groups, it's not covered by insurance. If it's massive businesses and stuff, no, massive debt and damages, and they don't get recovered for it.
Right. And also, then, of course, the thing that if we label Antifa as enemies of the government, and Antifa means against fascism, and we're
Mm-hmm.
against Antifa, that means we're against fascism, which technically means we are for fascism. So if we
Oh,
label
that's funny. Yeah.
Antifa a terrorist sect, technically our government is saying that they are pro-fascism. So
Huh. Interesting.
little catch 22 on that one.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Huh. All right. So back to awesome shapes. This is great.
Oh,